What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dean, aka the Blue Crusader, and today I'm back for another Minecraft mod showcase. Today I'm going to be showcasing you my brand new mod called CryptidCraft for Minecraft that adds many different cryptids and mythical creatures to the game, characters from horror movies like Jason Voorhes, and also many different creepypasta mobs like Siren Head and Slenderman. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so we're in a brand new survival mode game right now, and I'm going to show you some of the mobs which I've added in this mod. Now, if you guys do like this mod, you can click the link in the description below, which will lead you to the Patreon link for the channel, where you can support the channel, and in turn, you'll get access to this mod, many more future mods, and also access to the official Minecraft server, which is modded for this channel when it comes out in a few months. So definitely do check that out if you enjoy this mod and you want to try it out for yourself. So without further ado, let's jump into the mod. So we have 3 different tabs in this mod, okay? I've been working on this for about a week now, and I've added lots of different popular characters. So the first tab is CreepyPasta, then there's cryptids, and then there's movie monsters. So these are monsters from movies, these are mythical creatures and myths like Bigfoot. The creepypastas are obviously from chilling internet tales. So let's first spawn a few of the mobs, and most of the mobs which I've added in the mod actually all have custom sound effects to them, which make them really unique and interesting. Now, one of the most popular creepy mobs from creepypastas and stories recently has been Siren Head. If we spawn Siren Head here, you can see I've made Siren Head absolutely huge. So his sound is really loud. You can see he makes roaring sounds as well, and since the mob is so huge, he can actually be heard from a really long distance away. So if we just turn up our render distance right now in game, just so we can see more in the distance, you should be able to see Siren Head in the distance without hearing him really loud, but he does have the normal siren sounds which you'd hear from the Siren Head games, and he's absolutely huge because Siren Head is absolutely massive and usually he's a lot taller than most of the trees. So I wanted to kind of give him an imposing look, and so he towers over the forest trees. Now, he is using originally the Enderman model, but I did modify this to obviously add the speaker head onto him with a mouth, and then also make him walk really slow as well. So he does walk really slow, but as you can see, he's absolutely huge. Now, all of these mobs do have custom abilities as well, okay? And that's dependent on if you're in survival mode. As you can see, he is really loud. So he's super loud, and if you happen to find him, he will naturally spawn in forests. I would recommend, if you're using this mod, if you do naturally find him spawn, and obviously you can still see him all the way over there, which looks super cool. I mean, he's absolutely massive. If you do actually happen to find him spawn, he has a really rare spawn weight, but if you do happen to see him spawn, he does spawn in forests, and it would probably not be the best idea to build near there, because he does attack you, and I think he kills you in one hit. So he's a pretty dangerous mob. Then we have this mob, which is called Faceless. This is a variation of the Enderman, basically like a modified version of Slenderman. And this guy doesn't really have too many interesting abilities, but he just teleport around like an Enderman. And I wanted a way to add 2 versions of the Slenderman, because there was 2 really nice skins which I found. Now, instead of having Enderman special abilities, this guy kind of performs like the Iron Golem. So if I just spawn some kind of zombie or something, I'm just going to spawn some kind of zombies, just so we can test stuff out. If there's a zombie, this guy will walk into them and he will knock them up and throw them up in the air, just like an Iron Golem does. So just because these mobs in this mod are scary and bad guys, it doesn't mean that they won't actually attack other monsters. Then we have the normal Slenderman mob. So this just looks like the standard Slenderman, which you guys are obviously all aware of. He does obviously use the Enderman model as well, because why would you not use the Enderman model? Now you can see, if he collides with the player, he will have the chance to do the Enderman jump scare sound, which you heard just then, and he will place cobweb on top of the player. So you can see he placed a few different pieces of cobweb down here to make the player go slower. And then he will also add potion effects to the player. So if you're in survival mode, he will give you nausea and weakness. So let me just try this, okay? So if we just walk up to him, you can see if we walk into him, it makes the sound effect. So if you're in survival mode, not only would you jump with that jump scare, you'd also get nausea, poison, weakness, and wither effect on you for 60 ticks. So there's also a chance he can give you blindness or just nausea on its own. So he basically does kind of give you dizzy effects and then hits you for quite a lot of damage after a while. So the Slenderman is a pretty dangerous mob as well. Then we also have the Lunar mob. So this is a creepypasta about the moon in Zelda Majora's Mask. And basically, as you can see, when you spawn him, he will have the chance to say a few different lines which are from the creepypasta. So you can see in the chat here, you can see he's saying a few lines from the creepypasta. And he has kind of like a rumbling and burning sound when you actually spawn him. Now, I was tempted to make him huge, like a big moon, like what he's supposed to be. But I chose to make him small. And he uses a combination of gas sound effects and moon sound effects from the actual creepypasta. As you can see, he's using the various gas sound effects in the game. Now, when you do kill him as well, he will make kind of like a meteor hitting the earth sound when he dies. So that's pretty interesting mob. And you will find him in a biome called Lunar, which is basically a version of the Plains biome, which is just completely covered in red sky. So that's like a really dark biome. So you can find that in game as well, which is really rare. And then we have Entity 303. So this is kind of like a variant of Herobrine. This is another creepypasta story, and he's super fast, and he has a variation of different abilities he can use. As you can see, he can place water down on you as well, so he can kind of grief the world. Now, these water blocks he placed down, he will place these down when he falls. So if he falls down a block, he's going to keep making a trail of water behind him to cushion his fall, which kind of protects him from fall damage. But this also works the majority of the time when he just drops down a block or when he's walking. So you can see he leaves a water trail behind him. So in effect, he's just griefing your world. This can become a little bit bothersome in your world. So the only way to spawn this guy is if you make a special block to spawn him, or if you do it in creative mode. So you do have a choice if you want him to spawn or not, because he will seriously grief the world. Then if you hurt him, he has a chance to do a few different things. So I'll try and show you some of them, but in essence, if you hurt him, he has the chance to drop multiple TNT blocks around you which explode. He has the chance to strike lightning at the ground, drop items like cobblestone, cobweb, gold blocks, and mossy cobblestone, spawn cobweb below you to trap you and slow you, or spawn different spiders and creepers around you to kill you. So there's a lot of different abilities this guy has if you actually fight him, and each of your attacks when you fight him has a chance to do these different things. So you can see that's the lightning strike, and if you hit him, he doesn't do any of these abilities every single time. But you can see he just got hurt and summoned another lightning strike. As you can see, now he drops some random items, which are just useless items. Then he destroyed the area around him with TNT blocks, as you could hear. And there's the lightning again. And then the TNT. And then the TNT is going to explode. And then hurt him some more. And then spawn some more TNT because he got hurt. And then he's going to spawn some spiders. So when he summons these things around himself, it will hurt him more, which in turn will make him summon more abilities. So he's a pretty tough mob to fight. If you summon him, there's pretty much no way to kill him. All of these mobs are just supposed to cause destruction to the world. So if you use the mod, it's your choice really if you want to summon him. Okay, next up is Herobrine. So everyone knows about Herobrine, probably the most popular Minecraft creepypasta. When we spawn him, he will do a message in the server, and it'll say Herobrine joined the game. Now this is because obviously these mods are going to go on a mod pack, and it's going to go on a server, so it'll be quite interesting to see what people will say or how they'll react when Herobrine joins the game. So that's what it will say in the chat when you spawn him, and he has these soul particles around him. And I am going to change how fast he is, because right now most mobs in the mod are super fast, and I want to change that. But as you can see, he runs around and he has these cool particles on him, and if you run into him on survival mode, he will give you a few different effects. He'll give you mining fatigue, or slowness, or bad omen, or unluck, or poison, or blindness, or nausea. So he basically has the chance to give you one of any of the dangerous abilities or potion effects in Minecraft. So he's pretty dangerous, but he's more of a disorientating mob, which will just be more annoying, and then he'll just punch you to death. Then the Smile Dog. This guy has the chance to spawn when you go to sleep, and basically he's just a really annoying enemy based off the creepypasta. Now, as you can see, Smile Dog has just disappeared, but this guy, if you right click on him, he will just explode around him. And as you can see, it doesn't do it every time. But the more you right click on him, the higher chance it is to create an explosion. So there's not really too much special abilities. He can just cause a random explosion. Then there's Sonic.exe. So as you can see, he has the sound effects from the creepypasta and all these weird particles which tower above him. And he's super fast. He has a lot of abilities. Not only is he super fast because he's Sonic, but he also teleports around like an Enderman and does that really chilling classical video game music laugh. So he's pretty scary. Then we also have Squidward. So Squidward from SpongeBob, as you can read from the message below. This is another creepypasta. And as you can see, he uses the zombie villager sounds because Squidward looks like a zombie villager. And he also burns in the daylight. But basically, if you right click on Squidward, there's a chance that he'll summon TNT. There's a chance that lightning will strike, and there's also a chance that he'll just die. Because the whole point of the Squidward creepypasta is that he just is going to die. So basically, if you right click on him, he dies. So there's not too much abilities with him, but that's the first list of mobs in the first row, but we do have some more. So let me spawn the second row of mobs in the creepypasta section, and we have a lot of stuff to cover here, guys. So as you can see, we have the Rake, which is another creepypasta. These guys spawn right now in the Badlands and some of the plateau biomes, and they make really chilling raw sounds. So those are really creepy mobs you can run into, and most of these will spawn naturally, but most of the creepypastas though you will have to spawn by creating items, because I don't want to make it so they spawn in the world and cause too many problems. So I will obviously make changes to these so it doesn't ruin the game. Then there's also Ben Drowned. So Ben Drowned, he uses sounds of the drowned mobs because he's kind of gurgling on water, as you can see. And basically, this is a mob from another Zelda creepypasta. Now, when he's hurt, he has a chance to drop water around him, because technically he's like underwater, and you can see he runs around super fast, which I'm going to change because right now he's a bit too fast and it doesn't really make sense. But he has water particles dropping around him, and when you hurt him he has the chance to drop water around him too. So this is currently what he can do, and he also has the chance to place down lily pads if he's nearby water too. So he has a few different abilities, but there's a really low chance that he actually uses these abilities. Then we also have Jeff the Killer, which is another popular creepypasta. And as you can see, he's in his hoodie. You can summon him by using a special clothing item. I will show you how to summon all these mobs after. Then we have the Mickey Mouse creepypasta. So as you can see, he does actually have Mickey Mouse sounds. So he'll just be crying, and then when you hurt him, he has Mickey Mouse sounds. Then there's Dead Bart from The Simpsons. So he has real Simpson sound effects too. And like I said, a lot of these mobs don't have full abilities yet. I am going to change everything. So as you can see, he makes some pretty funny Simpson sounds. Then we have Goatman. So Goatman is a cryptid who's kind of like a goat, which you can find in forests. And then we have Laughing Jack, who can teleport and go invisible when he gets summoned. And then when he gets hurt, he has the chance to go uninvisible. So he's basically kind of like an assassin mob, which is pretty cool. So these are all the creepypasta mobs. Now let me show you how you can actually summon these mobs. So we have various items in this mod where you can summon them. But first of all, let me show you some of the music discs. So basically we have a music disc for the Ben Drowned theme tune from Zelda. We have the Sonic theme tune and the Halloween theme tune from the movie Halloween. This is currently in the wrong category, but I am going to move that over momentarily. So then we have the summoning item. So let me show you the summoning items, how they work, and how you can actually summon some of these creepypastas in the game. So the first few is just a face. So this is kind of like a face mask, which you're going to be able to craft out of leather. And all of these items, when you use them, it will summon the mob and then it will break the item. So it's a one-time use. So as you can see, this summons the faceless mob from earlier. And there's also Haunted Stone, which is going to be a new block which spawns underground as a mineable block. And I'm going to make it so if you collect like a lot of it, like 100 pieces, you can make this soul encased stone block. And then when you right click on it, this will summon Entity 303. So that's going to be how you're going to spawn him, but you're going to need a lot of stuff. Then we also have the Sonic the Hedgehog game CD. Now, as you can see, these items have custom information, some of them, if you hover over them. So this says corrupted video game disc. This spawns Sonic.exe. The strange hoodie will summon Jeff the Killer. And the old film will summon Mickey Mouse. Then the special burger, when you eat it, will take a while to eat and then it will summon Dead Bart. The striped jumper also summons Jeff the Killer right now, but that will be changed. And then there's a few different items. So we have the Jack in the Box, and then we also have the old dusty clarinet. So the Jack in the Box summons Laughing Jack, and as you can see, it actually does a Jack in the Box sound effect when you open it. And then you're going to have to wait for that sound to play even if you've used it. And then the old dusty clarinet is Squidward's clarinet from SpongeBob. So when you craft that, you can spawn Squidward using that clarinet too. So this is the creepypasta section of the mod. So the next section is the cryptids section. So this is kind of like the creepy myths and tales creatures like Bigfoot. So there's some really cool stuff here to show you guys. And we even have Jaws the shark, but that's supposed to be in the movie monsters section, which is another thing which I'm going to move to the right tab later. So currently, the cryptids actually spawn in the natural world. You don't spawn them in using items because most of these cryptids are monsters like Bigfoot and stuff. It's just cooler to find them randomly in the forest because they're not supposed to be there. So first of all, we have the lizard man. So he's like a really tall lizard that spawns in swamps in the jungle. Then we have the megalodon shark, which took me a while to model, but you can see it's an absolutely massive shark which is going to spawn in the ocean and attack you. So this is probably the coolest thing that I've made in the mod so far. So we have a real megalodon, and then we have a smaller version, which is Jaws from the movie Jaws. So you might just be swimming in the water at one point, and then Jaws will just start swimming after you and trying to kill you. So that's pretty cool. Then we have the Yowie, which is kind of like a Chinese version. No, I think it's an Australian version of Bigfoot, which is like a myth and legend. And basically he'll spawn, and he will spawn around the Badlands Plateau biome, and he'll have dripping honey on him. So this is a really cool mob as well, which you can find. Then there's the normal Bigfoot, which is absolutely massive, and he's going to fight the Yowie, but they're not going to spawn near each other anyway. But he uses the Iron Golem model, so you can see he has a really cool texture. That's Bigfoot, and he can spawn in most of the forests in the game, including taiga biomes. And then we have Chupacabra. So the Chupacabra is like a Mexican devil dog, and he has special abilities too. These guys will spawn in most of the dry climates or open areas, so that's like plains, deserts, desert hills, and taiga. So these are pretty interesting, and everything's really rare to find in this mod, so when you're playing survival mode, you're not just going to naturally find all these monsters. Then we have Mothman, who is a flying entity that you might see just fly in the air above you, and if you hear screeching sounds and you look above, then it might be Mothman. Now, the final cryptid creature which I made in the mod, in this tab, which I'm really proud of, is the Flatwoods Monster. So this is a story about an alien, I think back in the 80s or 70s or something like that. It was like an alien that people said that they found that was floating around on the hill in the forest wearing metallic metal armor. So I created this in Blockbench and I made a custom model for it. And you can see it has some really cool sound effects and particles, and it's just kind of like a floating alien. Okay, now basically if we go into survival mode, you can see that he does fire projectiles. He kind of shoots these lasers at us. He'll just fly around passively and then just start chasing you and shooting lasers. So this is one of the coolest mobs to find. You'll find him on hills, mountains, and forests, and you'll find him just hovering around with this really strange, eerie screeching sound in the background. Just listen to those cool sound effects. So let's now move on to the last tab in the mod, which is the movie monsters tab. So there's some pretty cool stuff here, guys. So I'm just going to show you all of the movie monsters first of all, and then I'll show you a few of the spawning items, a few of the weapons, and some of the armor which you can obtain in the mod too. And there's some really cool mobs here from most of your guys' favorite movies, so you'll probably recognize at least one or two of them. So the first one is Billy the Puppet. This is the character from Saw. He can be spawned using a special puppet mask. Then we also have Michael Myers from Halloween. As you can see, he looks pretty cool. Freddy Krueger, who has a chance to spawn if you go to sleep. So if you go to sleep, you have the chance to have a nightmare and he'll spawn by your bed and probably kill you, which might be a little bit frustrating if you play in survival mode. So that might be a bit annoying. Then we have Jason Voorhes. As you can see, he has his mask on and he makes like a drowning sound. Then we have Ghostface from Scream. Pennywise the Clown, which is my favourite mob I've made so far because he makes that creepy Pennywise sound when he spawns. He does a really creepy Pennywise laugh, and he says, "You'll float too" as well. So it's really creepy stuff here. I really like that mob. And in the background, you can see Siren Head from earlier. So that's Pennywise, who a lot of you guys will probably really like when you play this mod. Then we have Chucky. So Chucky has a strange laughing sound, and when you spawn him, he has the chance to have 4 different spawn voice lines. So he's pretty cool, he has quite a few sound effects. Then there's also the Candyman from one of the old horror movies too. So as you can see, this is Candyman. He has a few different interesting abilities. Now this is the most interesting mob. Now, if the Candyman gets hurt, he has the chance to strike lightning on the ground and also summon 4 different killer bees. So that's the lightning effect, and then he's on fire now, so he'll have the chance to summon some bees soon, probably. So we'll just wait for him to summon bees. And there you go. So now he summons bees, and these are just like the normal bees in Minecraft, but these are angry bees, and these guys will attack the player. So basically, they spawn tons of honey all around, and the bees come out and attack the player, because in the original movie Candyman, the Candyman, when he's summoned, he can open his mouth and loads of bees come out and attack this whole city. So this is what I really tried to capitulate in the mod. Then we also have The Nun, which is a more recent horror film in the past few years. And as you can see, she has the zombie sounds, and she's basically kind of like an unholy demonic nun. So this is another cool mob. So these are the last of the horror movie monsters. Now the sounds may get a little bit irritating, but like I said, most of these monsters don't spawn naturally in the game. You will have to spawn them in creative or spawn them using special items. As you can see, then we have a few different summoning items, okay? So this is how we can spawn all of the monsters in this mod. The last mobs which I want to show you are Frankenstein and Dracula, but I can show you those now when we summon them because that'll make it a little bit easier. So we have a few different summoning items here, okay? So the first one is called the Heart of Damballa, which summons Chucky. This is from the movie Chucky. There's an item called the Heart of Damballa in those movies, and a criminal transfers his spirit into this amulet, and then that spirit goes into a doll, and that's who Chucky is, basically, in that horror movie. So if we use that, we can summon Chucky. A wooden coffin item we can place down, and when we right-click on it, it breaks the coffin and opens it, and we can summon Dracula the vampire. So that's how we can summon Dracula. The puppet mask summons Billy the puppet. The strange key will unleash Michael Myers from prison. So that's how we spawn Michael Myers. The old hockey mask will summon Jason Voorhes. And remember, most of these items have a description on them, like Dusty Halloween mask, which will summon Ghostface from Scream. Then we have the vintage balloon item. This will summon Pennywise. So if you craft a balloon, you can summon Pennywise into the world. Then there's the Satanic Book, which summons the Nun. And my favourite block so far I've created in terms of summoning stuff is the Lightning block. Okay, so this Lightning machine, if we right click on it normally, it does absolutely nothing. So you're wondering, how does this work? Well, this is where things get interesting. So basically, if you have a zombie in a certain radius of blocks around the machine and you right click on it, it will destroy the machine, use the power from the zombie and lightning, and it will create Frankenstein. So this is probably the coolest way of spawning a mob which I've made in this mod. So this is Frankenstein, and as you can see, this is what he looks like. So this has been the CryptidCraft mod for Minecraft, my new mod which I really wanted to show you guys. And if you guys want to download this mod and play it for yourself, you can now support the channel below by going on the Patreon and becoming a member, and you'll get access to this mod, my Avatar The Last Airbender mod, and all future Minecraft mods that I'm working on right now, which I'm going to release over on there for you guys, like the Factory Machines mod, which I'm making right now, a Star Wars mod, which I plan to make in the future, and you'll also get access to the Minecraft server, which is a Minecraft modded server, which is coming out in a few weeks or months, that all of you guys can play as part of the official channel's Minecraft server. So if you want to play on the server in a few months, and if you want this mod and tons more to come, make sure to become a member on Patreon and support the channel using that link in the description below. So thanks for watching, guys, and make sure to like the video and subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss out on more mod showcases like this, and follow me at thebluecrusader on Instagram for some more updates about the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.